Yeah, it does. Yeah, cowboy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what I have. What's it say down there? Oh yeah, it says M&P M2.0. 2.0 for short. All right. Sounds like a new computer program, doesn't it? Piece of software. All right. Otherwise known as an app these days. We used to call them computer programs. Yeah, I've got the new M&P 9mm 2.0 M2.0, and we're going to shoot it some more. Been shooting it, and I've had a lot of questions. A lot of people have requested that we get our hands on it, and so we did. All right. Contacted Buds and said, you got one of these things, and they sent it to us. Okay, as usual, we'll go to the e-gunner along with that target in the box, and they will auction it off. And again, 10% of that goes to the Second Harvest Food Bank in Middle Tennessee. Just a reminder of that. Thousands of dollars have come in through that, and we appreciate Buds doing that, and that works great, win-win situation. So been shooting this firearm, and it's done okay so far. Let's take it over here and take a little bit of a look at it. I'll just load that particular magazine. I have 2 magazines for it. This is an upgrade of the M&P series. And again, we got it from Buds. We appreciate them getting it to us so quickly. And check out their website and look at all the good stuff they've got going on there with eGunner and shipmyguns.com. If you have a gun to ship, they've got a program there that works really well. A lot of people use that. And then Federal, we're going to shoot Federal ammo. Got some leftover hollow points there. Got some HST hollow points. We're going to try those in it. And the bulk of what we shoot, of course, is American Eagle, which I've used for decades. 115, 124 grain. This is 115 right here. All right. So, it's a pretty good gun. It's been my estimation at this point. Okay. I've not done many M&Ps. I've been remiss, I guess. We've done a couple and need to do more. This firearm reminds me, need to do more of these they do have a good grip. I recall when they came out that people were pretty excited. A lot of people that were in competition at the time went to them because they shoot well, they felt good. One of the criticisms has been the trigger, and I mean, it's not the worst trigger that ever came along, but they've caught a lot of criticism about the trigger, and that's one of the things they improved. The trigger is supposed to have a better, and I don't have enough experience. I don't even have one around that I can compare it with in the striker fired version. That's not double action only. I've got a police trade in, but it does feel better to me. Now, one of you or some of you who have a lot of M&Ps and you shoot them a great deal, maybe even compete with them, you could give a better evaluation maybe of what you think of the newer triggers. But my estimation and impression of it is better. It's a pretty crisp trigger, and the reset is nice. My only criticism of the trigger really is, I mean, the break is fine. I'm picky about triggers, although I don't mind a heavier trigger. Like most people want the lightest trigger they can get. I don't. In fact, I prefer a 5-6 pound trigger on something like this, but I want a crisp trigger. I don't want to know when it's going to break. That's what I like in a trigger. I've told you before, I used to compete with a Glock 23. They had the New York trigger in it. Didn't bother me a bit because it had a crisp break. Okay, that's what I like the most. But this is a fairly light trigger, and it's got a pretty nice break. My criticism of the trigger, it might be my biggest criticism of this firearm. The biggest negative is where it breaks, because it breaks back all the way back pretty much. Okay, and you hear me say that occasionally because I have such a large hand. For you, it might feel great, but it does break further rearward than almost all the way back. So again, it's that distance that I talk about. That's it's a thing that's not talked about a lot, really. But the distance between where the trigger breaks and right there is I keep saying I'm going to start measuring that and talk about that more. But it's a big factor if your hands are not small hands. If you have even average hands, I think it can be an issue, but especially if you have large hands. So that's one of. But now I'm also, by the same token, I'm accustomed to adjusting to the world, a normal size world. Because I'm a big old ugly guy, 6'8", I have to adjust in every way, okay, just like John. And so I have adjusted, and my finger never matches the trigger very well. And I never use the pad of my finger. It's rare that I ever use that pad like you're supposed to, and your trainer has taught you, right? So I'm reaching through the trigger anyway on every firearm. So, you know, so I'm used to that, okay? But it is a nice trigger. Nice reset. I don't know if I can show you the reset. It's pulled there. I'll put this back. There's Homeland Security checking up on us again. So you can see that reset. Click right there. So it's a short little reset. It's a nice trigger. Okay, you won't find too many people criticizing the trigger. Now they might tell you that like the Wall or PPQ, and there's some other pistols that might have a slightly better trigger, but it's got a nice trigger now, and that's been one of the biggest criticisms of the Smith & Wesson M&P. What else did they add? They added some serrations up here. You want to press check it. You've got you know, serration. I don't know, it's a little bit awkward for me. If I'm going to press check, I just grab the back, but you got those lower there. They're not really in the way. In fact, they're so minimal, they don't help. And so that's nice. I like the serrations on the M&P. You know, you actually can get a hold of it. It feels good. There's friction there. Let's shoot it a couple more times. All right. Just rack one in. Put it in my do-all holster. Oh yeah. Feels good. What wants to get shot? How about that piece of clay pot right there? Woohoo! Yeah, he thought he survived. Ah, boy. Yeah. There's some pot left there. Yeah, pot left to smoke. I see some 12 ounces. Where do I get that? 11 ounces? Yeah. It's a good little shooter. Yeah. Feels pretty good. I should put a mag pouch on. Of course, I just have 2 magazines. Let's get fancy. Since it's a Smith & Wesson, I think I can hit that thing. All right. While I've got it in my left hand, let's go on, shoot it to gong. All right. Try him again. All right. Let's quit while we're ahead. Let me try the red plate. Got to hold up on it. It's a nice sound. Let's try the middle red plate. That went high. I'm not sure where that's going. There we go. Actually, I was holding too high, maybe. Yeah, I was holding too high. I don't know. I thought I needed to hold higher than I was doing there. Let's try to pick off that little pig above the buffalo. That'll tell me where to hold. Or where not to hold. Well, I guess right there. She's empty. It has a nice trigger. And I typically want a nice trigger if I'm going to start trying to pick off things or little things that I don't normally shoot at, maybe with a polymer pistol. So it's got a good trigger. The sights are on. The shooting I've been doing, I would have sworn, and I do. Maybe the barrel's heated up. I don't know. But typically I like a 6 o'clock hold, kind of. And with these sights and this arrangement, you need to hold up on the target. I've noticed a little bit. And by the way, the sights and the dovetail and everything, I believe, are the same as on the older models. And as I understand from my reading, the trigger guard and configuration is the same. All your holsters that you've used for your other M&Ps will work. Your magazines from your earlier M&Ps will work. Some of the things they've changed, I may forget some of this or get some of it wrong. You M&P experts, you can bail me out and chime in here. But I think they added another grip panel. Now you've got 4 sizes: small, medium, medium large, and large. I put the large on here for this video. Actually, I was shooting with the medium too, and I don't know, I think I probably like the large better. It seems to help a little bit with that distance on the trigger break I was talking about earlier. But again, I'm so accustomed to adjusting to normal size things that a medium grip on Glocks, I end up just putting the medium panel on those. I don't try to make them as big as I can necessarily. Some of the newer things, again, the serration up there I think is new. I believe the perhaps the reversible mag release, okay, to make that ambi. The ambi slide lock, I believe, is new. I don't think that's on the others. And it's an ambi slide lock, yes. You know, you can lock the slide. You know, if you're a lefty, you could lock the slide just like I did there with no trouble, right or left hand. Now, it's not really an ambi slide release if you want to use it for that. Now, the right, if you're a righty, it is, you know, it's easy to release. But I've noticed with the left hand, I can't get that down at all because it doesn't really lock or latch on the right side. You know, it just latches on the other side, and this is just an extension of that. So, unless you're a lot stronger than I am, so if that's an issue, just so you'll know. Because it locks right there, as you can see. It doesn't lock over there. Okay. What else is different? Now let me take it apart here real quick, which is again one of the cool things about the M&P. You know, it's simple to take apart. The rails up here are extended a little bit. I've read. I guess it's maybe that front part right there, maybe that piece. Again, I don't have one to compare it with, but the rails are extended a little bit longer, supposed to help with the torque and everything and the recoil of the handgun. So that was one of the changes. Most of this is the same. And what else? It was different. The M2.0 is different. It's not on the older firearms. How's that for a brilliant observation? So you got your ambi slide lock, release, mag well, better trigger, your added grip panel. Oh, and the stippling on that grip, that is pretty nice. That's been increased, and I will have to say that is done correctly. That feels good. You know, it's rare that I find a handgun, polymer handgun, modern handgun, that I don't want to wrap some grip tape around it of some sort, right? It's hard to find those, and this one, it doesn't need it, and that's a lot for me to say, because unless you just like the feel maybe of the rubber grip tape better anyway, but it doesn't need it. This actually, they've done something to this grip that is so unlike most grips, and I will compliment Glock too on their Gen 4 pistols. And I just got this out for size comparison. You know, what they do to it actually creates some friction also. It actually does. But now many of the polymer wonders out there, they've got all these zigzags and weird stuff on the grip. It does nothing. It's still slippery to me, okay? But these are a couple, and this is even better than the Glock. It actually has friction, feels good. You really lock into it, okay? So that's an improvement. You got your rail, and that's stainless, by the way. They've got a special finish on it. I think the finish they're putting on it might be different. It's stainless. That's stainless steel, the slide, and it's some wonder something. It's not melanite, some kind of nite, some kind of wonder coating. It's not tinifer, but anyway, it helps protect that, and also you don't have to fire the gun. You notice I did when I broke it down. You can. I don't have a screwdriver out here. But you can, if you want to, well, just break it. Shouldn't break it. But you can push down this little lever here, take down lever. Okay. Screwdriver's better than a pocket knife for that. And now it'll just go right off. I don't have to pull the trigger. All right. That's not a big deal to me. For some people, that is a big deal. I always use the magazine to push that back up. Because, you know, I mean, if you're such a klutz that you don't know when that firearm is unloaded, you're about to break it down, and you're afraid to pull the trigger. If there's any danger and you're pulling the trigger, you haven't checked it closely enough.